My friends, I'm a 60-year-old doctor here in the US, and today I want to start with something simple, just one small glass, but powerful enough to wake up your muscles after 70. That's whey protein. For years, we've believed that eating enough was all it took. But after 70, the body is like an old engine that cranks slowly. If the protein signal comes too late, the muscles miss that golden window to grow. Whey is different. It hits your bloodstream fast in about an hour, carrying leucine like a key that flips on the growth switch. Have you ever felt in the morning that it's harder to get going, that your steps are heavy, that just holding a glass of water makes you feel older than yesterday? One of my patients, Mary, 74, used to start every morning with nothing but black coffee and the news. I asked her to try something small after 10 minutes of light stretching, drink a whey shake with a few berries. 2 weeks later, she came back and said, "Doctor, I can climb the stairs without grabbing the handrail." That wasn't magic, it was the right protein at the right time. I want you to picture this inside your body. Billions of muscle fibers are waiting for a strong enough wave of amino acids to get in rhythm. At 20, that wave comes naturally. At 70, you have to invite it gently but firmly. Whey rich in leucine does exactly that. It's not just a supplement. It's a reminder that muscles can still learn to grow again if you give them the clear signal right in the morning. And maybe just one small glass today can be the first step towards steadier legs tomorrow. Have you ever noticed that sometimes the humblest, cheapest foods can turn out to be the most loyal companions for your muscles? I'm talking about lentils and quinoa. They may look small and simple, but inside they hold treasures that the aging body desperately needs. I remember one patient, Robert, 72 years old. He often complained that after a heavy meat-based meal, he felt bloated and tired. I suggested he swap part of his lunch for a warm bowl of lentil soup cooked with a little quinoa. The surprise came quickly. Just a few weeks later, he told me his digestion was lighter, his sleep was deeper, and resistance training suddenly felt easier. It's not complicated. Lentils are loaded with folate, iron, and potassium that feed the very roots of muscle fibers, while quinoa fills in the essential amino acids older adults often lack. What most people don't realize is that your gut bacteria act like a gatekeeper, deciding how much nutrition really makes it to your muscles. The fiber and resistant starch in lentils feed the good bacteria, which in turn calm inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and make every gram of protein more effective. Imagine this: instead of eating more and absorbing less, each meal now becomes a smooth handoff, a complete delivery of fuel to your muscles. So let me ask you, when was the last time you gave your body the chance to try something so simple yet powerful enough to return stronger, steadier steps? Lentils and quinoa aren't just food. They're living proof that sometimes simplicity itself is the key to holding on to strength in our later years. My friends, let me pause on something that's often overlooked, yet it holds the key to real strength as we age: sleep. Most people think of sleep as just rest, but in truth, it's during those quiet hours that the body secretly rebuilds muscle. Growth hormone, the master craftsman of repair, is released most consistently when we're in deep sleep. And with just a little bit of strategy, sleep itself can become an invisible gym for your muscles. I think of one patient, Linda, 76 years old. She used to tell me that every morning she woke up stiff, her arms and legs heavy. I suggested something simple: a small bowl of cottage cheese before bed. The casein in that fresh cheese releases amino acids slowly, drip by drip, for up to 8 hours, like someone feeding her muscles all night long. A few weeks later, she came back smiling, "Doctor, this morning I stood up without using my hands." Have you ever woken up feeling drained, as if you'd lost a bit of your strength overnight? Now imagine this: every night while you're sleeping, your muscles are quietly being nourished so that you wake up lighter, stronger, steadier than the day before. That's not wishful thinking. It's the power of deep sleep combined with slow protein. And sometimes just one small habit before bedtime can change the way tomorrow feels entirely. Have you ever noticed that some foods seem like they're just there for pleasure, yet quietly work like a team of little doctors inside your body? Greek yogurt is exactly that. It's not just a thick, creamy snack. It's a living ecosystem packed with billions of probiotics. Those tiny organisms act like loyal gatekeepers, keeping harmful bacteria out, calming silent inflammation, and most importantly, making every gram of protein you eat more effective. I remember one of my patients, James, 68 years old. He once told me, "Doctor, no matter how much meat or fish I eat, I don't feel any stronger." We made a small change each morning. He added a cup of Greek yogurt with a few walnuts and a spoonful of honey. Something remarkable happened. His digestion felt lighter, his body absorbed protein better, and his muscles started recovering after his long walks. The science is clear. The fermentation process in Greek yogurt actually pre-digests some of the protein, breaking it down into smaller pieces that are much easier for an older stomach already producing less acid to handle. So let me ask you, have you ever thought that something as simple and refreshing as a spoonful of yogurt could be the key connecting your gut to your muscles? That's what researchers call the gut-muscle axis. And every spoonful of Greek yogurt is a small but steady step toward preserving not just physical strength, but also the confidence to move through later life with steady, sure steps. My friends. So many people believe that building muscle is just about eating more protein. But the truth is, muscle and bone are inseparable partners. Strong muscles sitting on weak bones are like a house built on sand. It may look solid on the surface, but one small fall can steal away your independence. I remember treating Harold, a 73-year-old gentleman. He lifted weights faithfully, ate plenty of lean meat and whey protein, yet he kept struggling with nagging pain in his knees and back. When we tested him, his vitamin D levels were alarmingly low, and his calcium intake was far from enough. 3 months after adding milk salmon and a little morning sunlight to his routine, the pain eased, and most importantly, his muscle strength finally had a foundation to hold steady. Science tells us this clearly calcium doesn't just build bones, it plays a direct role in muscle contraction. Vitamin D acts like the doorman guiding calcium to where it's needed most. And of course, protein is the raw material that ties it all together. Think of them as three musicians in a band miss just one, and the song will never sound complete. So let me ask you, how long has it been since you truly paid attention to your bone health while working hard to protect your muscles? The answer may be simpler than you think. A protein-rich meal paired with enough calcium and vitamin D could be the secret to a later life, not only with strong muscles, but with a sturdy frame to carry every step you take. Have you ever heard of hemp seeds? They're tiny, pale green, and look so ordinary, yet inside they're like a miniature nutrition lab. In just one spoonful, you'll find arginine, magnesium, and omega-3s, the trio that reduces inflammation and reawakens muscle growth signals your body may have forgotten with age. I think of Susan, 71 years old, who often complained about sore muscles and restless nights. I suggested she sprinkle a spoonful of hemp seeds over her morning oatmeal. Just a month later, she came back and said, "Doctor, I'm sleeping better, and in the morning, I don't feel so stiff anymore." The science makes sense. Arginine in hemp seeds widens blood vessels, improving circulation, so nutrients reach muscles faster. Magnesium regulates sleep and muscle contractions. And omega-3s act like cool water, putting out the tiny flames of inflammation that quietly weaken our strength. Picture it this way. If your muscles are like a garden, hemp seeds are those gentle raindrops that soften the soil and help new seeds sprout. And the beauty is, they don't require much effort. Just sprinkle them on yogurt, toss them into a salad, or eat a spoonful straight. Simple, yes, but often it's the small, unassuming things that end up nourishing the greatest strength in our later years. There's one food I often compare to a bottle of precious oil for an old engine. That's wild salmon. By the time we're in our 70s, our muscles are like that engine, still running but showing signs of rust and wear. The omega-3s in salmon act like lubrication, smoothing every joint and every muscle fiber, helping them run more easily. I think of Eleanor, an 80-year-old patient of mine who used to complain that her knees burned and ached every time she went for a walk. I suggested she add wild salmon to her meals 3 times a week. A few months later, she came back with a sparkle in her eyes and said, "Doctor, I can walk around the park without having to stop." That wasn't just her story. Science confirms that omega-3s don't just fight inflammation, they also make muscles more responsive to all the protein we eat. And here's something else: vitamin D in salmon is like a gentle ray of sunlight shining straight into your muscle cells, waking up their ability to build protein. Astaxanthin, the pink pigment in salmon's flesh, acts like a protective shield, guarding those tiny power plants inside muscle cells so they don't tire out as quickly. So picture this. Every bite of salmon doesn't just feed your body. It offers your muscles a chance to feel younger again, to keep walking with you steady and strong through the later chapters of life. Have you ever noticed that sometimes it's not just your legs that feel weaker, but your memory seems to fade as well? That's because the body and the brain were designed to work together. When you move, your blood flows faster, carrying oxygen and nutrients to your brain, like watering a garden of memory while at the same time nourishing your muscles. I remember Daniel, a 75-year-old retired math teacher. He told me regular walking felt boring and made him forgetful. I suggested he try Tai Chi. After just 3 months, not only were his arms and legs more flexible, but to his surprise, he suddenly remembered an old phone number he thought was gone forever. Science backs this up. Coordinated movements like dance or Tai Chi stimulate the brain to form new connections while improving balance and reducing the risk of falls. Picture this: every graceful step in a dance, every slow gesture in Tai Chi works like a workout for your muscles and a memory exercise for your mind. Body and mind, muscle and brain no longer separate, but working as one to keep you steady, alert and strong in your later years. Bandanoi. There's a quiet night watchman for your muscles that hardly anyone talks about, and that's cottage cheese. By the time we're in our 70s, something happens every night as we sleep. Our muscles start breaking themselves down for fuel. When you're young, you can rebuild what you've lost the next day. But as we age, much of that loss never fully comes back. I remember Patrick, 78 years old. Every morning, he complained that he woke up weaker than the day before. I suggested something simple: a small bowl of cottage cheese before bed. He laughed at first, thinking it was just a bedtime snack. But just a few weeks later, he returned and told me, "Doctor, this morning I stood up easily. I didn't feel that heaviness anymore." The secret was casein, the slow-digesting protein in cottage cheese that drips amino acids into the bloodstream for a full 8 hours while you sleep. But that's not all. Cottage cheese is rich in selenium, calcium, and vitamin B12, nutrients many older adults are seriously low in. Together, they don't just support stronger muscles, they also improve sleep, turning every night into real recovery time. So picture this: instead of letting your muscles waste away in the dark, you give them a steady stream of fuel quietly flowing all night long. And in the morning, instead of waking with a sense of loss, you rise with a little more steadiness, like your body has built a fresh layer of strength while you slept. Bandanoi. Let me pause here and remind you of something important. Age is not the full stop to strength. Our muscles don't actually know whether we're 60, 70, or 90. They only respond to what we give them each day: the right meals, the steady steps, the nights of deep rest. I've seen it too many times: a 92-year-old woman who built muscle with whey protein, or an older gentleman who thought he was finished, yet after a few months was walking firmly again. So the question is no longer, is it too late? The real question is, are you willing to give your body the chance to surprise you? Sometimes all it takes is one small change: a glass of whey in the morning, a cup of Greek yogurt in the afternoon, or a spoonful of cottage cheese before bed. That little step can be the spark for an entirely new journey. Remember this: every meal is a chance to send a message to your muscles: keep growing, keep carrying me. And every walk, even the slow ones, is a quiet declaration that you still want to live fully. So today I invite you to begin. Give your body that chance. Don't let age decide your limits. Let your choices write the strongest chapters of your life.